It's payday. There are enemies in your dungeon.
Roses are red, Ted Stark is dead.
The horde came across a stray goblin by the roadside, who apparently constituted the sad remains of one of the hunting lodge's attack units. This miserable being joined the army of the powerful evil with a grateful whimper. The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal. Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south. The pixie bounced over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil prepared an ambush.
If you do not say yes, then
the annoying little pixie had spoken her last healing spell. the crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wings. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his early demise. King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time would come. The demigod Krotos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swamplands to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by ensuring his untimely passing. Besides, the Nagas could prove to be valuable allies. King Robert was defeated, but there were more heroes whose life the ultimately vindictive evil was after. Here in the swamplands, the demigod Krotos was just leading the Alliance's troops against feral Naga clans. They had retreated here after the collapse of the Dark Army. It would seem sensible to first strike an alliance with these Nagas before the impatient evil squared up against Krotos. Gold-greedy evil built the first underground treasury, thus laying the foundations for insane amounts of hoarded treasure. The Alliance had discovered the presence of the ultimate evil. This had nothing to do with a tip-off from a certain narrator who wanted to increase the tension. It was pure coincidence. The good people responded, as you might expect, with a direct attack on the dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon. Payday. Defend the throne room. Some creatures had been hiding in a secret room. They joined the ultimate evil. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting. From the Dungeons 2 strategy guide, Naga's are ranged units and can detect invisible creatures. A tinkerer's cave had been built. Soon, traps and doors in the dungeon would make any would-be hero's life more tricky. There are enemies in your dungeon. Pleased Evil's hard-working goblins had made plans for a new room, a guard room. There, creatures could patrol and keep a lookout for heroes. Immediately, the ultimate evil got down to having this room researched. Your throne room is under attack. The exploration keen evil sent its troops to the surface for the first time. The swamplands spread out before them. The next step was to either find the Nagas and recruit them, or be massacred by the army of the Alliance. It was a difficult decision. The army of the ultimate evil could view the temple from the top of the hill, and it did indeed not look good for the Nagas. The nauseatingly good hero Krotos personally led the Alliance into battle and was forcing the snake creatures to retreat. Only his death would deliver the temple back into the hands of evil. Well, that could be arranged. The troops of the ultimate evil stumbled upon a patrol of the Alliance that had caught some Nagas. Of course, they immediately set about wiping out the Mudgy. Oh, and by the way, you could of course also set those Nagas free. The last fighter in the patrol was defeated. Creatures of the Horde cheered. Oh yes, and set the Naga free as well. They were overjoyed to join the ultimate evil. The eager for new units evil sent his creatures further towards where it expected the Naga camp to be. The Nagas kept up their fight to free their unholy temple. If the ultimate evil was to help them win it back, then their support would be guaranteed. Since that fitted perfectly with the planned revenge on Krotos, it was the ideal solution. The approaching horde startled a few animals. Dinner. Defend the throne room. Horde defeated the bears with ease and stocked up on bear meat. However, as bear meat is not actually a resource in the game, this was utterly irrelevant. A hospital had been built. From now on, wounded monsters could be cured there. The fingers of a goblin devoted to the unspeakably evil impatiently tapped on the workbench. He was still awaiting orders to begin researching the guard room. Of course, he did it behind the lame eagle's back, as, after all, he didn't want the hand of terror to portrait him in a most unpleasant manner. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Your throne room is under attack. 100 years later, the dungeon of outdated evil was discovered by other baddies. Following careful investigation, they came upon the single reason why this dungeon had failed. There was no guard room. Maybe you should work towards preventing this future becoming reality. The guard room was researched and ready for construction. Creatures that were thrown there by the hand of terror would keep watch and be especially vigilant for intruders. They were able to alert other creatures near the guard room and summon them for reinforcement as well. Payday. There are enemies in your dungeon. A small group of Alliance troops had gathered here. The presence of the Nagas ensured that the all-seeing evil could see even the cloaked units. At last, the Horde reached the Nagas' camp. They were not able to offer the ultimate evil much help. However, they spoke of an artifact that was hidden deep down in the mountain. It would make defeating the Alliance a piece of cake. The Nagas opened a portal to the artifact using their ancient magic. The insidious evil debated briefly whether it was worth the risk. Finally, however, it decided it was only a question of its creatures' lives, and of course, the ultimate evil didn't give a toss about that. The Horde had passed through the Naga portal and found themselves in an old altar chamber, in the center of which lay a very ancient-looking object. This had to be the artifact. Some creatures appeared to be guarding it. Enemies have entered the dungeon. A teensy-weensy hint. These artifact guards are preventing you from continuing. Get rid of them. It's payday. Once the artifact guards were eliminated, the artifact began to glow. It almost seemed to be waiting to be picked up. It looked as if the artifact would fit perfectly into the mysterious altar base that lay deep within the dungeon of the ultimate evil. Maybe it would be a good idea to place it there. The artifact was currently lifeless. It needed some mana. The next task for the expanding evil's creatures was to expose some mana crystals. This mana would be necessary to charge the artifact up. Wait a moment, that's already been done. Well, looks like someone is trying to become the teacher's pet. Nerd. But a mana crystal on its own was really of no value to the ultimate evil. It would take a crystal chamber to make this valuable asset usable. A room was quickly installed under the crystal. The crystal chamber shone with the brilliance of a freshly painted room. To exploit this effectively, the success-enabling evil was now able to recruit Nagas. At this exact moment, the clan conveniently placed some of these snake-like beings at its disposal. Apparently, it had not escaped the notice of the Alliance's magicians that something disturbing was going on in the underground. So they decided to mount powerful attacks on the dungeon. But the ultimate evil had been warned. That's what I'm doing right now, by the way, and created such a formidable defense that it would have brought tears to the eyes of any tower defense player. A cry for help from a few Nagas trapped in a very remote area reached the ultimate evil while it was defending the dungeon. Maybe they could be saved by using a spell, which was ready to be unlocked in the crystal chamber. The artifact was filled with magic. Neither did it take too long, nor did it go too fast. It was filled up exactly when the level designers intended it to be. Wave-by-wave tactics of the Alliance had so far proven unsuccessful. So, a strategic genius had decided to open up a second entrance to the underground in order to send, well, wave after wave of units into the dungeon. The artifact continued being loaded with magic. It would soon be ready. There are enemies in your dungeon. There are enemies in your dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Payday. Creatures of the unstoppable evil continued work on filling the artifact with magic. artifact was almost bursting with energy. It was now producing mana independently and ready to stand by the ultimate evil's side in the battle for the temple. It also gave the ultimate evil access to a few more magic spells. Now it was time to take the temple and destroy Krotos. The ultimate evil gathered all the troops together to attack in one devastating wave. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon. The ultimate evil had learned a spell. This would enable the Nagas to be rescued. It immediately set about doing so. The spell ensured the Naga's safe passage into the dungeon of the ultimate evil. Excellent work. Just so that we understand each other correctly, you are meant to attack Krotos and finish him off now. One great final battle and all that. All clear? Then off you go. It's payday. Enemies have entered the dungeon. The unspeakable evil's creatures approached the Alliance's camp. An impressive dam towered into the sky in the background. However, this path led to absolutely nowhere. The ultimate evil, or more precisely its creatures, destroyed the Alliance's camp with the greatest of ease. It considered having a luxury hotel for stressed dungeon managers built there. There are enemies in your dungeon. The creatures of a suspiciously suicidal evil made their way towards a treacherous ambush. Apologies, I thought that the Horde would take a different path, because there is an ambush awaiting them here. But obviously that doesn't seem to be bothering someone at all. It was now time to fight Krotos. After a long pause, the unspeakable evil positioned its army and went into battle against him. It's payday. Together with its Naga allies, the army of the ultimate evil stormed the Naga temple. The battle began. It wouldn't be long before Krotos was defeated. Just a few more blows and he would fall. Hey, wait, what do you think you're doing? Come back, you coward! I mean, seeing that defeat was inevitable, Krotos opted for a strategic retreat, leaving the temple in the ultimate evil's power. The gathered evilness then burst the nearby dam, and the Alliance's camp disappeared under waves of water with a very satisfactory gurgling sound. Despite the soggy end to the Alliance, the ultimate evil was livid. It had just been robbed of a delicious revenge. But, if I may be so bold, that was yet to come. I saw it in the script. Although Krotos managed to escape, the Horde continued